They searched for him for 7 days. 7 days of mud, rain, and fear. His name was Private Daniel Cooper, a 22-year-old American soldier who vanished during a night patrol on a small Pacific island in 1943. His squad found blood on a leaf, a torn piece of his uniform, and footprints that ended suddenly near a ravine. The Army declared him missing in action. His mother received the heartbreaking telegram. His dog tags were placed in a file marked presumed dead. End of story. Except, it wasn't. Because on a human afternoon in 1970, 27 years later, a barefoot, bearded, sunburned man stepped out of the jungle and collapsed at the feet of 2 stunned American surveyors. He spoke perfect English. He wore a necklace of carved bone. He carried a rusted American knife, the same model issued in 1943. And when they asked him who he was, he whispered, "Private Daniel Cooper, United States Army, reporting for duty." The U.S. government was shocked. His family was notified. The press called it the soldier who time forgot. But Daniel's story was far darker and far more unbelievable than anyone expected. This is the untold truth of what happened in those 27 lost years. Daniel Cooper grew up in a small farming town in Ohio. He wasn't the strongest kid or the smartest, but he had quiet courage and a stubborn streak that often got him into trouble. When World War II broke out, he enlisted. "If my country needs me, I'll go," he told his mother. He joined the 37th Infantry Division and was deployed to a chain of remote Pacific islands. Humidity soaked everything. Mosquitoes bit through uniforms. Soldiers slept with one eye open. Every shadow looked like an ambush. Daniel wasn't a hero. He was a radio operator, the guy who carried a heavy transmitter on his back, making him a walking target. But he followed orders and never complained. His squad trusted him. In June 1943, his unit was assigned to Operation Night Lantern, a risky patrol deep in Japanese-controlled jungle. Their mission? Locate enemy scouts who had been sabotaging supply routes. On the night of June 19th, everything went wrong. A sudden storm drenched their equipment. Radio signals crackled and died. Visibility dropped to almost nothing. When the squad spread out to search a ravine, Daniel, who always stayed at the center, simply vanished. His best friend, Corporal Mitchell, later testified, "We were 5 feet apart. I turned for 1 second, and he was gone." Search teams combed the area, but found nothing. No body, no gear, no tracks. Daniel's mother refused to believe he was dead. Every birthday, she left his favorite apple pie cooling on the windowsill, whispering, "Come home, Danny." She died in 1962, still waiting. And then, 8 years later, Daniel walked out of the jungle alive. June 19th, 1943, the night Daniel disappeared. Rain hammered the canopy like thousands of drums. The jungle floor turned into a swamp. Daniel's radio malfunctioned, picking up nothing but static. His squad moved slowly. Every vine felt like a trap, every branch like a hidden rifle barrel. Daniel was at the rear, adjusting the antenna, when he heard something, a faint clicking sound, rhythmic and deliberate. Not an animal, not the storm. Someone or something was tracking them. He whispered into the headset, "Movement behind us," but the radio crackled uselessly. Suddenly, the ground beneath him gave way. Daniel crashed into a hidden sinkhole, landing on a shelf of wet roots 10 feet below. Pain shot up his leg. Above him, the storm roared, and his squad's footsteps faded as they unknowingly marched ahead. He tried climbing out, but the mud was too slick. His shouts were drowned by thunder. He was alone. Hours passed. The storm eventually calmed. Daniel finally managed to climb out, but now he was disoriented. His compass was broken, his radio useless, the patrol long gone. He headed east, or what he thought was east, but a jungle twisted directions, and thick fog swallowed landmarks. On the second day, he saw figures in the trees, silhouettes moving silently, too tall for animals, too fast for soldiers. Their faces were painted with ash. Their eyes glowed faintly in the low light. He fired a warning shot. The figures disappeared, but they were not gone. That night he woke to whispers, a circle of shadowy faces around him. One of them reached out, a hand-painted white bone, and placed it on his forehead. And then everything went dark. When he opened his eyes, he was somewhere else entirely. Daniel awoke in a hut woven from palm leaves, lit by a single flickering torch. His hands were tied, but not tightly. His leg was bandaged with herbs. The shadowy figures were real, a hidden tribe, unknown to outsiders, living deep in the island's interior. Americans would later learn that locals called them the Koro, meaning those who watch from the trees. They had lived there for centuries, untouched by civilization. No written language, no weapons beyond spears. But they had mastered the jungle in ways no soldier could imagine. At first, Daniel thought he was a prisoner. He struggled, yelled, demanded release. They simply watched. For days, they fed him strange fruits and bitter medicine. A woman with white-painted hands tended his wounds. She spoke a few English words. Storm. Danger. Stay. Slowly, Daniel realized the truth. They were not captors. They had saved him. They believed he had fallen into the jungle between worlds. To them, he was not lost. He was chosen. When Japanese patrols passed near the village, the tribe hid him in underground pits so his presence would not draw danger. Daniel learned their ways. How to track by broken leaves. How to move without sound. How to light a fire invisible from a distance. How to survive weeks without supplies. Months turned into years, years into decades. At first, he tried escaping, to return home. Twice he attempted it. Both times he failed. The jungle swallowed him and nearly killed him each time. By 1950, the war was long over. By 1955, Daniel had stopped trying to leave. By 1960, he spoke the tribe's language. By 1965, he became their best hunter. But deep inside, he carried one burning desire: to see his mother again. In 1969, everything changed. A massive storm destroyed parts of the tribe's village. For the first time in 27 years, the jungle shifted enough to reveal a path the tribe had long believed cursed. Daniel knew that path led toward the coast, toward the world he left behind. He made a decision that tore him apart. At dawn, he gathered supplies, tied his knife to a vine belt, and walked away from the tribe that had become his family. The woman with the white-painted hands stood in silence as he left. She whispered only one word: return. The jungle was no longer Daniel's prison. It was his final test. He traveled through swamps he once feared, over ridges he once thought impossible. For days he moved with the precision of a hunter and the caution of a soldier. On the sixth day, he found footprints, American boots, fresh. His heart nearly burst. He followed them until he reached a clearing where two American surveyors were mapping the island for a new airstrip. They froze. He froze. Daniel looked like a ghost, barefoot, bearded, skin-scarred, carrying relics from another era. One surveyor slowly lifted his radio. Headquarters? You're not going to believe this." Daniel tried to speak. His voice cracked. "I'm Private Daniel Cooper, United States Army, reporting for duty." And then he collapsed. Daniel woke up in a U.S. military hospital. Bright lights, white sheets, machines beeping. Doctors were stunned. Journalists fought for interviews. The Pentagon ordered confidentiality. But the biggest shock came when they brought him a box. Old, dusty, wrapped in brown paper. Inside it, his mother's letters, unopened, hundreds of them. Daniel wept like a child. The U.S. government asked him what happened in the jungle. He told part of the story. He left out the rest, the tribe, their kindness, their warnings, their world. Some things weren't meant for headlines. Daniel returned to Ohio. His hometown had changed completely. New roads, new buildings, strangers everywhere. But in the old graveyard at the edge of town, he found a stone that broke him completely. Mary Cooper, beloved mother, 1898 to 1962. Still waiting. Daniel spent hours sitting by her grave, telling her everything. He lived a quiet life after that. No interviews, no books.